Netflix, Amazon Prime, HBO Max, Disney Plus, Paramount Plus. These are just some of the examples of streaming services that most people are familiar with. Each one of these services I mentioned has their own pros and cons in terms of content, pricing, accessibility, etc. People will always have the debate as to which streaming service is the best. Each person has their own personal preference out of these 5 which one they like. But what if I told you the one best streaming service is one I did not mention in the beginning?
No way! Yes way!
There is one streaming service out there that no one hardly mentions at all. There is one service that lurks in the background, nobody mentions, nobody ever thinks about, but it actually hides some hidden gems in it. That's right, rock and rollers. Today we're going to be discussing Tubi, king of the streaming services. To keep it short and simple for those of you who don't know, Tubi is an ad-free streaming service that was founded in April 2014 that has a variety of movies, shows, etc. It's a streaming service. We all know what that is today. Let's get the obvious point right out the way. Most streaming services nowadays ask people every month, alright, how much is this going to cost me? Meanwhile, when the topic of cost comes up, Tubi replies,
I said forget about it, cuz.
That's right, folks. Tubi is free. Now, it still does have ads, like I mentioned earlier, but hey, it's free. Tubi has this reputation that whenever it's brought up, it's immediately clowned on and looked down upon as some lesser streaming service. Hey. We don't tolerate Tubi slander on this channel. Take that potty mouth and go somewhere else.
The hell with you.
It's a shame Tubi has that reputation, because it does have some pretty good stuff. Shortly before recording this video, I browsed Tubi for a little bit to see what they got, and here is just some of the things I found. Gone in 60 Seconds, The Wolf of Wall Street, The Dark Knight, The Flash, Underworld, The Rundown, Eyes Wide Shut, Barbie, Kingdom of Heaven, Man on Fire, Coraline, Grease, Angry Birds, Silence of the Lambs, The Menu, Mrs. Doubtfire, Requiem for a Dream, I, Robot, Nightcrawler, Ex Machina. Those are only a few of the titles I've found in just a short time of browsing. Now, are all of these movies considered good? Debatable. Everyone has their own likes and dislikes and preferences, but that's the point. There's something for everyone. And that was just a short time while searching. There's probably more hidden gems I didn't find. Those are just domestic films. What about foreign films? Tubi has probably the best selection of foreign films I've seen on a streaming service personally. Netflix and Amazon both have a pretty good selection of foreign films in my experience, but Tubi takes it to a whole nother level. I mean, where to start? You want iconic Hong Kong action films such as Hard Boiled, The Killer, or A Better Tomorrow? Tubi's got your back. How about a range of Italian horror films? Anything from Suspiria all the way to Della Morte dell'Amore, or as it's known in America, The Cemetery Man. Tubi's got you. Staying on the topic of Italian films, how about the sleazy exploitation films that Italy is known for? Films such as Slave of the Cannibal God, Night of the Sharks, Eaten Alive, and more. Tubi's got you, man. How about France? You want to see some awesome French movies? One in particular, Brotherhood of the Wolf, happens to be my favorite French film. Or how about the other end of the French film spectrum, that being the new French extremity stuff, the ultimate, controversial movies. Don't worry, Tubi has the granddaddy of those films, Martyrs. How about Spain? Tubi has a great selection of Spanish titles ranging from Sex and Lucia, Perdita Durango, and Open Your Eyes. Guess what? Tubi understood the assignment and has your back. Those are just a few examples of Tubi's awesome foreign film selection I found, but trust me, there's way more on there. It's great to see an American streaming service show so much love to foreign films, as most streaming services over here seem to kind of neglect them, or like, yeah, those aren't important, they're not good like us. Tubi also has TV shows with full seasons. I didn't name any here personally just because TV seems to be more, selective to people with regards to what they like, what they dislike. But just trust me, Tubi has a great selection of TV shows if you want them. What about the downsides? Every streaming service has them, and Tubi is no different. One small nitpick I have is sometimes the quality of the stream is a bit low, it's blurry, it's low resolution. it's not every title, but it is some. Maybe it's because I watch older films like those Italian, cheesy ones I mentioned. It can get annoying sometimes, but like I mentioned earlier, it's free, so it's like, okay, I can kind of live with it. Another con is Tubi originals aren't really, how you say it, the best. Hold up. You mean to tell me you don't like The Grinch That Stole Bitches?
He lives at the North Pole. Listen to me. I be serving Lil E the G-sauce, And he tells me everything about sex. All his business. Tell me more. That's spot that you think.
Yes, that's a real Tubi original, and no, I did not watch it. I don't hate them for having low budget originals. At least they're trying. That's better than most people. The one thing that Tubi has going against it that most people do not like is that, like I mentioned earlier, it has ads. Now, it's good and bad. The ads themselves, whenever you start, let's say you pick a movie, usually there's like a 20-second ad in the beginning, and you're like, okay, like it's no big deal. But there are ads spliced throughout, kind of like commercials used to be. Each of these ad sections can range anywhere from 15 seconds to close to a minute, and there's like 5 or 6 at a time. You could have upwards of 5 to 6 minutes of an ad break, that kind of breaks your immersion. And it happens, I think, it depends on how long the thing you're watching is, but it happens, 4 or 5 times. So some people, it really bugs them. I myself, kind of thought that going into it, like, oh my God, it has ads. But once you start watching a few films, it kind of, you get used to it. Like, oh, this is no big deal. And like I keep harping on, Tubi's free. I mean, you can't really fault them for having ads. They have to make their revenue somehow. At least it's not like streaming services like Amazon, which you pay for it and you still have to have ads while you're paying for it. That's just not cool, man. That's just not cool. Now, do I expect Tubi to stay free forever? No. I do expect Tubi to budge at some point. Nothing good lasts forever. Tubi, if you're watching this, I beg of you and ask of you, hold the line as long as possible. Hold out as long as you can. In this era of streaming services with prices going higher and higher every year, it seems, it's nice to see a streaming service do something different than the others. I mean, Netflix is already almost $30 a month, which is pretty high, and it's going to go up if Netflix acquires Warner Brothers. That would probably be closer to 40 or 50, which, for what it's worth, Netflix does have a lot of stuff, but a lot of stuff is not good. Their originals are, yeah. Now, Tubi's no different, like I said. Their originals are not the best, but Tubi's free. I mean, like, you can't really fault them for that, right? Tubi's not perfect, like I said. It has low resolution sometimes. They have ads. Their originals aren't the best, But all of that I can let slide because it's free. I mean, in this economy, we all know, how expensive stuff is. Like I said earlier, streaming services going up. It is nice to have a streaming service that just says, hey, like, here's your stuff, it may not be the best, but here you go. I mean, something being free goes a long way with people, and Tubi clearly understands the assignment, and let's hope it continues to in the near future. God, I hope Tubi's still free by the time this video comes out. Otherwise, this whole video is just kind of pointless.